This adventure is not for your average rider. This is a real test for legit dirt bikers. The DA does not host a tour by any means. This is a tough ride that finds itself in the desolate never-never of Baja. It's a vast peninsula, which features many varied looks and challenges that await our 38 dirt bike riders and their machines. The goal is epic single track, but reality is that only 1/5 of the peninsula can be conquered on remote trails. It takes roads, 2 tracks, pavement, and all types of other terrain to attain Land's End. The DA will ride 1,400 miles from the Tecate border crossing, and not the easy way. Challenging obstacles, wild animals, tip overs, crashing, and oncoming traffic exist. Riders have to keep their head up and be aware. Our goal is 8 days of safety while challenging ourselves in the most remote areas of Baja with test after test on the way to our destination, the office in Cabo San Lucas. I'm your host, Cameron Steele, and this is the 18th annual Monster Energy Rip to Cabo, presented by Maxxis Tires. Let's go!
About 18 years ago, we had this crazy, kind of stupid idea to ride dirt bikes from California down to Cabo San Lucas, and I've been helping wrangle the kittens ever since, or maybe wrangling the donkeys might be a better terminology.
This wonderful thing we do, I've said it before, it really feels like you've ridden into a scene from the Western Tombstone. You go back in time and you ride into Baja.
The RIP provides some special stuff, some special places, some awesome riding, some major challenges that most people don't get to see. Some days are short, maybe 150 miles, maybe 100 miles, but it takes us all day to do it. It's tough.
18 years doing this trip. It's not a lot of things that I can think of that I've been doing for 18 years in a row.
It's been a wonderful reckoning. We've been doing it that long that kids that I've seen cradled in their mom's arms are now riding in Baja with us. It's beyond epic.
You know, riding into Cabo is an amazing feeling. It's a really big goal. Fortunately, you know, half the guys approximately aren't able to ride every mile. A lot of people got hurt, a lot of people had bike malfunctions. And so to be able to pull that off, it's a big deal. And even after doing it so many years, it still has that reward.
On day one, we need to make sure the riders and bikes are ready for 8 days of Baja. A short day one gives us confidence with the bikes and leads to one of our favorite stops at Horsepower Ranch. Before we get to desolate Baja and the Never Never as we call it, we have day 2 filled with 2-track and graded roads.
With all this rain that we had this winter, pretty much the whole West Coast, Baja got a bunch of rain as well. And day 1, day 2, northern Baja was just blooming with color. I mean, every trail was just lined with rainbows of flowers and all of the, you know, cactus, and everything was so green and alive from all the rain. And it was just breathtaking riding through all of that.
Everyone's doing pretty good. It's been pretty easy so far. The first couple days, it's just warm up, shake down, let everybody get warmed up. But luckily, everyone's doing pretty good. If they weren't, we're gonna have a serious problem. But we'll get into some harder stuff here in a couple days. But so far, so good. We got a bunch of new bikes on the trail. I think we have 11 new bikes on the trail. So everyone's getting used to those. They've been working great. So far, so good.
The fact that the roads are bigger make it no safer. In fact, we consider better roads to be more dangerous, more chance of higher speeds, slippery surfaces, and possible oncoming traffic. You have to be heads up everywhere.
Sounds like there's a rider down just up here, so we're gonna head in and see what we have.
Unfortunate part of dirt biking is there's only 2 wheels and they can't tip over. Jared Thompson, who's been with us, this is his 3rd Rip to Cabo.
been rock solid today. A little wide on the slippery crossover road. Catches a big, soccer-sized rock. And
good. He just hurt his thumb, and then when he got hurt, he had a syncopal episode, so he passed out in front of us. So we laid him downhill, and then Mike gave him a bag of fluid. So we're gonna monitor. His blood pressure is a little low, so just give him a little bag of fluid and head on to lunch and recheck him as appropriate.
Great medics on this team, man. I would not come down here without the DA and the medic, that's for damn sure.
We're going to the front. Careful standing him up. You're going to get dizzy.
And now they got him situated in the truck. We have 2 truck medics here and 4 bike medics here, so I think he's in good hands, but the assessment is that everything's going to be all right.
This is Kyler Ruskin, a pro-level rider and our buddy who films the trip from his bike. Kyler is riding without a radio and assuming the road is clear.
Hearing that crash being called out over the radio, knowing there was only 5 guys behind me, I narrowed it down pretty good to who it may have been, and a little scary listening to that whole thing go down.
Okay, we got a guy here. We got the flow crew here. He's moving. Okay, yeah, he laid it down before he got to the truck. We're after it's pushing forward.
Hey, did you hit the truck?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a number, all right?
Yep.
4.
4.
What's the number?
4.
Okay. Tell me where your pain is.
My face.
We were cruising down the road, and I know to be going slow, but when you see the helicopter fly above you and the tail drop and the $1 million camera turn on you, my brain says turn it on. Little did I know that Heli Jim was yelling in the radio saying, slow down, guy on the white bike, slow down, there's oncoming. So at the last second, I had about a millisecond to respond to that when I saw the front end of an F-150 coming at me about 50 miles an hour. And I grabbed the front brake as hard as I could, and I pile drove my head into the ground and spun, and I missed the truck by maybe 2 inches. I was knocked out, I think, for a little bit there. I remember waking up to the Sweetheart Mexican guys saying, I'm so sorry, we are so sorry you crashed. And
No, it's not your fault, I'm sorry.
I should have been staying more focused and slowing it down on their roads. They're here, this is their land, that's their access roads. We're the lucky Americans that get to come down here and enjoy part of their roads. The point of the story is, thank God I'm okay, buy a radio, and also stay focused on the mission.
The helicopter got it.
Yeah, he did.
Did it? Oh yeah, he was calling it out the whole time.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to come without a radio in your helmet.
Yes.
I know.
He called it out 5 times.
We heard him going, oh, there's a blue truck coming. Oh, there's a white bike. It's hauling ass. Hauling ass.
Yeah.
Boom. He hit the truck.
That was
Oh
my bad,
yeah.
110%. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I'm glad you're okay.
I haven't crashed like that in a long time.
It's better hitting this than that,
Yeah. That's
You gonna be all right? The way the radio.
I think everyone just needs to just take it easy. It's the second day and 2 down. Let's just get to lunch.
Speaking of lunch, maybe some good karma came Kyler and Jared's way as we had a mission this day to spread some love at Rancho Santa Marta School and Orphanage, sharing lunch and the Stoke with the kids of Baja.
I'm out here with my friend George Hamill. He runs the Dirt Life Show as a huge legend in the Off-Road Hall of Fame. And we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna give out some bike tires, some blankets, and help the kids at the orphanage.
It's really cool to be able to give back. It's gonna be really cool to see the smile on all the kids' faces today. And Maxxis being able to provide the tires and so being able to support everybody down here in Baja, fantastic.
Rancho Santa Marta is a super special place. I know it has a large place in Cameron's heart and the whole Desert Assassins. I think it's an amazing for Maxxis to get involved as well and bring parts down and the mechanics down and have all of us help out the kids.
There was a local guy there from a cyclery there, and he came out and started putting all those tires on all the bikes for the kids, and You know, now the kids got a bunch of bicycles to ride.
It's always good to go there and give back to those kids. Me and JD have been a part of the Beach Bash for 4 years, and that's where it starts, is out of the orphanage, and that's where they raise money and give back to those people. So it's always amazing to see those kids and give back, to see the struggles that those kids are going through, and the things that we don't realize we take for granted in everyday life. I mean, just having a bicycle or having a football to throw around with your kids, and those kids don't have any of that. So it's amazing to go back there and give back to those people.
All of a sudden you're popping out on this beach, you know, or a bluff 100 feet above like the most gorgeous oceans, and you're just on the gas and, you know, best bud right next to you, and yeah, it's quite remarkable.
Baja awaits. We continue with the Monster Energy Rip to Cabo.
Day 3, Rip to Cabo. San Quintin this morning, a little foggy, a little overcast. Got here late last night, but it's gonna be a good day of riding today. Single track, final destination I believe is Catavenia. About 185 miles they're saying today, so we'll see how it goes.
In Catavenia, we're at kind of the start or even the heart of the Never Never.
There's such a variety of terrain, and the views are amazing, the riding's awesome, and it's really nice to be completely disconnected from the rest of the world.
Taking a 2-track over the dune headed southbound will start us into our transition into the formidable Never Never. This is where desolate Baja begins.
Never gonna get cell service, never gonna find an ambulance or a hospital, never gonna get any help. You're stuck out here. When people say desert, they neglect to realize there's some desert beauty. There are mesas out there that are stunning. There's parts of the peninsula getting here where you can look off to one side and you know the Pacific's right out there. You look off to the other side, you know the Gulf's right out there.
On a trail formed by the hosts of the annual Anita's Ride in the greater El Rosario area, motos get a chance to tuck into the proverbial barrel. There are many formations on the peninsula cut by water, and the tube ride, so to speak, is one of the unique ones that always makes people smile.
This is my favorite section right here. Get in what Cameron calls the Never Nevers, where it's like middle of nowhere, and we ride forever, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and the cool cactus, and it's an unbelievable zone.
Whether it's single track or 2-track, this part of Baja has been blooming and is simply beautiful.
Really unique cactus, so the boojum trees, or Dr. Seuss trees like we call them, spread everywhere along with a bunch of other cactus. It's really neat just weaving in and out of those and seeing them, especially With the weather that we've had this year, all the rain that we had, everything's blooming. I haven't seen flowers like that on boojum trees or any of the cactus ever before. Just everything's green, everything's colorful. It's really neat just looking out on just a sea of cactus and boulders and knowing that you're gonna weave through it somewhere and come out the other side.
That section of the Baja Peninsula is just the most magical.
We're being stupid. It's called Dead Cow Canyon, and we play a game called Let's Kick Our Own Butts right before we get to the cold drinks. It's pretty good stuff. It's a lot of fun, and it's what Baja's all about. Look at this giant cardone right here. We got the jumping cholla, we got Sirios trees, and some donkey in a helicopter flying over the top. Pretty good, man. You gotta love it.
Bill Nichols was instrumental in building many single track trails in Baja, mostly around Catavina. He and Jimmy Soames were the pioneers of really amazing single track. And it's really rad to be able to share those trails with new riders.
Trails start life as animal tracks, walk trails, cart paths, old tractor cuts filling back in with plants, and other ways people and animals travel Baja. It's a vast peninsula with only one paved road in many cases, and we try to avoid it.
Depending on who built the single track trails that we ride, you have to attack them differently. Different trail builders attack trails differently, and that's how you have to ride them. And when you're riding a Bill Nichols trail, you have to be a little bit more aggressive than when you're riding a Jimmy Soames trail. Or if you're riding a Kevin Ward trail, you have to be more aggressive than if you're riding a Jimmy Soames trail.
You know, I'd say most guys start bonking 4 or 5 days and they start wearing thin and start breaking down a little bit. You know, this is when you see the rubber meets the road type deal and see if everybody can hang through the distance on this one.
It's just a neat, you're really in the heart of Baja at that point and really in the heart of the Never Never. But with that being said, I probably got a little too overconfident. Overrode it a little bit, being that late in the day. Baja bit me, I ran out of talent. Got a little camera courage, I guess, and came up over a little rise and grabbed way too much front brake, and next thing you know, I'm sliding through the dirt, listening to the helicopter call the crash out as I'm getting watered up.
And I think it was tough, it was challenging, it wore a lot of people out.
Like untangle a couple guys from under their bike today. It got really exciting and fun.
It's painful to ride, but I'm able to grip it, so I'm gonna ride.
What hurts?
It's my hand, my palm. Bruised up, no big deal.
Listen to these guys scream and cry on the GoPro when they get the choyas in them, and let me tell you, this has been in for probably an hour, and I rode through it. It's not that bad. These old guys, dude, their pain tolerance is just, the new generation's coming in. I'm Travis Picoy. This is my first rip, and I'm from Costa Mesa, California. I just remember at that time I was thinking, you know, there's just no way. You know, this trip is just like the unicorn. It'll never. It's just unattainable for me. And 12 months later, I was packing my gear bag, getting ready to go down to Baja.
You're not used to holding on to the handlebars for that long. And I don't care if you've been doing this for 20 years or if it's your first trip, your hands get tired. Like, they get swollen. Our bodies aren't made to take that type of beating. So I think they're in for a shock.
Day one on the rip, and it was only a half day. I went down twice. My forearms were on fire. My hands felt like just static. And I just remember sitting there at the hotel like, man, what did I get myself into? 8 days of this is not gonna be all right.
My first border crossing was in 1995, so it was a very long time ago, but I still remember what it was like to come across the border for the first time, and your kind of senses are heightened.
Ready for this? This is it, fresh fish, day one. I'm ready, I think.
You're a little bit on alert, you're a little bit on edge, you're in an unfamiliar territory for these guys, so it kind of causes a little anxiety, but you're also down here riding dirt bikes, so that kind of eases anxiety for most people. It's their happy place.
That just had me thinking if the days continue to be this gnarly and this long, like I don't know if I'll make it, you know. We were out on this single track that felt like never ending, and it was just pretty relentless, rocky, tons of elevation change, dusty. The cactuses are unavoidable, so you're out there, and yeah, at times it just feels like you're never gonna get out.
You only get to be a fresh fish once, and after that, that's your initial impression, and you kind of move on from there. So hopefully your initial impression when you come down here with this group is a good one, and you get to come back again.
Once I started to get to know all the guys and riding with them and riding with my dad, and just started having fun, all of the worries and doubts and thoughts went away, and I was just having a blast on my dirt bike.
Fresh fish. Bean right here. So see how it goes. He's an experienced Baja racer. He's started his Baja racing career with us at the DA. He navigated in 03 when we won the 1,000. I used to live in my neighborhood. Now he's a big time off-road racer on his own. So it's his first dirt bike ride to Cabo. I'm sure he'll be just fine.
We've been around Bean forever. Bean's been racing all the short course stuff and the desert stuff, kind of, been following the same path all the way along. So having Justin out here doing the same thing, Justin's an awesome dirt bike rider. He's kicking butt. Really enjoyed riding with him and spending more time with him.
This Rift to Cabo Baja adventure is brought to you by Monster Energy, Maxxis Tires, performance for all, Raceline Wheels, go everywhere, and Baja Designs, the scientists of lighting. Today is going to be a pretty unique day. We're going to ride some trails that we haven't had the group on before. We pay homage to the legends of Baja that have created such masterpieces, which are the cows mostly, or the donkeys. But there have been dirt bike riders that have gone and found their way around Baja. Guys like Jimmy Sones, Bill Nichols, and newer and probably the most heroic effort at the time, Dave Wonderly. And we ride their trails with great smiles and great respect, and looking forward to tonight camping. Woohoo! Only the second time on Rift to Cabo. Should be pretty exciting. We'll see. I forgot a pillow, so I'll be stacking up sweatshirts. It might be a little cold, and I heard we might get a little fog. You never know. Let's do this thing, boys. Let's go. Roll it out. Seeing wild horses is not unusual, and we always let them take point leading us down the trail.
All right, so we just finished up lunch. We're debating what we're doing on this next trail. decision time, because we're about to head out into a very long, difficult section. We got some guys that were somewhat questionable on, so we had to talk with them, decided to, you know, kind of break down exactly what they're expecting, let them kind of make their own decision if they want to go around, go with us. A few people are opting for the go around, which is a good idea. If they're feeling it, they should go around. It's a big group. We haven't taken this big of a group through this section, so we don't know what we're going to find out, but we're going to go see. This year we had a new trail called the Columbia Trail. Now this is a trail that we've ridden on another ride that we do called Hell Ride. And every March we ride together a very small group of about somewhere between 8 to 10 really skilled riders. And we ride 5 days of the hardest, toughest tracks in Baja Peninsula, and we call it the Hell Ride.
It had some challenging rock climb sections and some silt kind of mixed in with the hill climbs that were getting the best of some people, including myself. I had a little get off in there trying to go up one of the rock faces. But then it had its really fun, fast, flowy sections.
Just wrapping around cactus, where you almost come to a dead stop and do a 90-degree or sometimes almost 180-degree turn around the cactus, clutch it, back out again, and just trying to tuck your elbows in and make sure you don't get thorns in you, because everything all around you, you're just going through a sea of things that want to stick you.
Dude, look at your back.
What is it?
Full of cholla.
So Baja has a wonderful way of educating you with cactus. The jumping cholla is one that you don't really understand until you get it.
I am going to be honest, I had a little bit of apprehension about this trail because, as I said, it's a Hell Ride trail. It's not a Rip to Cabo trail. A couple of the other guys that rode Hell Ride with us this year said, no, let's do it, let's do it. We got through there in 2.5 hours. It's all good. I said, we got through there in 2.5 hours with 8 really good dirt bikers. Now we have 38 dirt bikers, and it's going to be at the end of the day. So I said, we shouldn't go in there unless we have at least 5 hours.
So the days turned out pretty epic for most. A few probably not so good. It's been pretty hard, it's been pretty hot. A lot of people have been really struggling, overheating, things like that. The fun part is what makes it hard. And so one person's hard and miserable is one person's pleasure.
It's one of the trails that you want to do on the Rip to Cabo because it's memorable. You know, you don't want to go down here and ride easy roads. It's not going to create memories for you. The harder the challenge, usually, the better the memories are at the end of the trip. So when you're challenged as a group together like that to get through something that's difficult, I think the group kind of comes together and it makes a little bit of team building, and the guys really enjoy it and they remember it at the end of the trip.
It really pushed some people to the brink, I think, of what their skill sets were, certainly what their fitness was. But I think that's what the guys want. Maybe they don't know it, but I think everybody wants that challenge. They want to be pushed to the edge. They want to find out what they're capable of, and that trail certainly did it.
One of the bikes in the back seemed to have lost a bolt out of it. Apparently a shock bolt fell out. So we're trying to scramble, see if any of us have enough parts.
In sections like this, if you get hurt or your bike breaks down, like, you're stuck. Like, there's no out. There's no way to get out of it except to go back the way you came or to get to the other side of it. And so that's exactly what happened. Luckily, we had the helicopter with us, and the helicopter was able to go get parts, bring the parts in, drop them off. We're currently almost done with the day, almost a camp night here somewhere in the Punta Prieta area. We're at a very high point. We're about 2,000 feet elevation. We can see both coasts from here. Got an epic breeze, so we're chilling for now. Hopefully gonna get to camp before dark.
Yeah, that's how Dave Wonderly makes the trail. Pretty adventurous, what a beautiful valley, but everybody struggled, which is part of the beauty of what Dave does. This is Baja, this is the Rip to Cabo, this is a big smile.
But we got everybody through there. It was an amazing trail. I loved it. I've ridden it a couple times, but everyone else loved it as well. Sure enough, 4.5 hours is what it took to get through there.
The day's combination of the couple trails we rode were tough, really tough, but the beautiful later afternoon light and the sunset as we arrived at camp made everyone smile, until they realized they had to set up their tents and get showered outdoors.
How's this out in the middle of the desert?
Not too bad. Nothing like a freaking hard day's ride, you know, going through freaking some of Dave Wonderly stuff, through the rocks. Freaking had a good time, but now it's time to clean up, get ready for dinner. You know, got to dress up for the boys.
Day 5, cooking breakfast, getting ready for our day. Everyone kind of chipping in after our camp night here in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't get much better than this.
Camping this year was a lot of fun. Sleeping in the dirt is a little sketchy. I ended up setting my tent up on the trailer so that I scorpion-free zone.
What are some of the challenges out here with camping?
Well, I mean, we got to bring it all. Food, the drinks, the tents, the cots, the sleeping bags. It's a lot of work to get everyone here and get it all set up and get it usable, but it's a lot of fun.
Camping was camping. You know, you ride a hard day and then sleep on a cot out in the cold. It makes it a little bit rougher to link the 2 nights together. Not as restful and relaxing and refreshing as staying in a hotel like we do all the other nights, but you got to experience Baja.
When you're put in that situation, it definitely kind of forces you to all come together as one. And again, that's what Rip to Cabo really is. It's a big brotherhood, and doing things like camping really helps it all come together. And
we are at Punta Prieta right now. We're heading to San Ignacio, check out the mission, get some ice cream, and we're gonna shred all the way there.
Some of our campers were a little soft. And I agree it is tough to change up the program, but it helps link some different looks on the peninsula. The Never Never has only one hotel, so we made our own. The morning session was one of the most fun sessions we had the entire trip, exploring some new routes and areas.
We're out in the middle of nowhere. This vicinity is very heavily mined. 1800s, 1900s. A lot of the roads, routes that we're riding were all created by mining, of course. So right now you can see pretty deep in there is Panda and Bobby taking a look. For me, I don't really like walking into mine shafts, but they don't seem to be too frightened.
Smells like bat poop.
The next section is what I call theoretical, as I plotted it on Google Earth, but holy heck, it was sweet. Untouched wash and 2 tracks that had faded in time. They were beautiful. Eventually, we ended up on some tracked-in segments that have some silt. Soft and tough to steer in when trying to make a turn. Second-year rider Ron Lalo took a moment to get some baby powder like talc all over himself by rolling in it.
The circus has arrived to the middle of nowhere. I like to say that creating pit stops where there is nobody around and everybody's like, where are we? Is pretty good stuff. So when we came through this mountain pass, we just had the most beautiful blank palette of sand wash, and everybody absolutely loved it. It's unbelievable. So we're getting close to the halfway point of the Baja Peninsula. We're actually going to ride into Baja Sur, or southern Baja now. So lunch is about an hour away, somewhere over there. And we're in the outskirts of what we call VJM, Villa Jesus Maria, and not far from Guerrero Negro. Tonight we're staying in San Ignacio, so we have a lot of riding left to do today. So we got to get on it, get going, and have more fun. It's the name of the game, right?
We use many superlatives like magical, beautiful, and majestic when talking Baja, but how can we not? The juxtaposition of the bright green cactus contrasting with the many colors of desert floor make for that magical look. The speeds we carry at times are quick. We are thankful to have the helicopter be able to spot random traffic for us. This middle flat section of Baja has its flow on today. It's on. There's the epic middle ground where it's not single track, but it's not well-used road that makes for some low-stress railing from corner to corner. Seemingly, there were like 3 bumps and 120 miles of riding before we got to the terrain change of San Ignacio. Then it got rocky.
There's so many magical places on the Baja Peninsula, and one of them is San Ignacio. It's an oasis in the middle of the desert, the middle of the peninsula, both from a distance perspective as well as almost from the width perspective. And you're just going through just endless desert, dry, dusty desert, and you just roll into this oasis of palm trees and a river flowing through it, and one of the most picturesque town squares with a mission right there. It's a magical place. We try to stop there pretty much every single year on this trip.
How about a little history lesson? Rip to Cabo arriving in San Ignacio. The town square is very welcoming. The kids and families here, including the Romero family, are very open to having off-roaders. The mission, founded and built in the 1700s, it marks our kind of halfway point on the peninsula. Pretty picturesque and amazing that you can drive right up to the front door on your dirt bike.
We set up, we made some hot dogs for the town square, had all the kids come over, fed them hot dogs.
Dos? Okay, dos. See how popular it is? We want to see the bad guy in the chair, man.
Gave them a bunch of stickers, shared the stoke, as we like to say. It was a great time giving back to that town that's given us so much. This year, 2 of our riders, Bobby Picoy and Bill Grant, who've been riding with us for many years, both brought their sons on the trip.
My name is Bill Grant, 52 years old. I'm from Park City, Utah, and this is my 6th Rip to Cabo. This was an epic one, bringing my son. It meant quite a bit to me to be able to start the trip, or at least finish it with him. Riding together since he was 6 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, just to be able to be down here with my dad is cool on its own, and to be able to ride dirt bikes and be bar to bar with him, ripping through the mangroves or down beaches or these single treks in the mountain is, you know, I'll cherish that forever, and I know it's the same for him.
Riding with my dad was epic. We don't get the opportunity to ride dirt bikes that much. We're both pretty busy. Anytime we were in close vicinity, they were like, go ride with your dad.
Right up here with me. So sick. Right up here with me. All right, I got the GoPro going. All right, let's go.
And I would roost next to him. We'd pop wheelies, and and rip down the peninsula together, which was awesome. Just one of those experiences that you know you just have to cherish because it's just so rad, and I'm so thankful that I have a dad that I can rip dirt bikes with.
Typically down here all by myself, you know, with no family. I mean, obviously these are all my brothers, but I don't have my blood family here. So we get to Cabo, we get to see the whole family, but this year I get to ride with my kid all the way down. Travis, he's a great rider, been having a great time with them. Super pumped to have him here.
Travis and Matt are close to the same age, so those guys, you know, pretty much came together right out of the gate. They both recognized, you know, that they were the young guns of the group.
Matt and I are both fresh fish, both 22, 23 years old, and we have a lot of similar interests, and we hit it off, and we were holding it down for the young guys.
Whether you want to or not, you know, you see him flying out of the corner, you want to get on it too, and I think vice versa. And every time he'd wheelie, I'd try and wheelie, and then we would dive into corners together.
You know, they were doing, you know, what young guns do. You know, they were out on the trail together, riding wheelies, see who could ride wheelies the longest, you know, and just pushing each other and having a great time. So it was cool to see our kids out there riding with us. We talked about it a bit, and it was pretty cool to have them out here.
They're not my kids, but I just couldn't help but smiling just watching them ride, cheering them on, and really being able to watch the father-sons ride together and share the terrain together. It's really special.
The RIP is in good hands with the next generation for sure, but I ain't getting out of here anytime soon, I'll tell you that, because I'm having way too much fun.
The 2023 RIP to Cabo is brought to you by Monster Energy, Maxxis Moto Tires, performance for all, Raceline Wheels, go everywhere, and VP Racing Fuels and Lubricants. Welcome back to the Monster Energy RIP to Cabo, presented by Maxxis Tires. The group has arrived in San Ignacio. Yesterday, 31 dirt bikers rode into the town square, and we celebrated with a little ice cream, a little bit of fun, and just a lot of laughs with the town folks. As we travel through Baja, you go into Baja Sur, the southern state, which we've already done, but everybody always says halfway, San Ignacio. Well, we're just over 800 miles on the RIP to Cabo. We're looking forward to more fun today, and I'm just stoked to be sharing it with all of my brothers as we continue down the peninsula, riding dirt bikes.
Gonna be heading to Scorpion Bay today. That's some fairly easy terrain, but this is where Fred crashed last year. Had a pretty bad wreck and actually made it out okay, even though his bike didn't. Every day you got to be careful when you're riding in Baja, even when it's easy terrain. So keep heading south.
We dodged a big one when Fred landed in the giant boulders last year while crashing. You can never let your guard down. Baja can be mean when you don't pay attention. For part of this segment, we plotted new cow trails to follow and found ourselves rallying some fun new single track made by the four-legged critters.
So we're out here. We're south of San Ignacio. We're just off the tidal flats out here in the middle of nowhere. This is my favorite place in Baja. If you look around, the geography is amazing. The cactus are amazing. It's just the most awesome place to be in. We got all these dirt bikes here. They all need a little bit of gas to keep going. So we're gonna get that done for them.
So a lot of these guys don't know how to fuel up.
Thank you
need
very
to be
much.
off your bike in neutral, not running. Stand on the opposite side as the fuel pump guy. Gas cap off. As soon as he fills the tank, immediately push the bike forward so the next guy can come in. Then you screw your cap on, proceed to take a break.
Come on, man, like NASCAR.
Fuel 101.
Brandon Wright hates a slow fueling line, and the cows don't mind the cactus, it seems, as their trails have the dirt bikes dodging some pokey obstacles. We pick some random segments to jump off the big roads to mix it up year after year, as we always try to tie Baja together with different looks. The bottom line is that some big roads are necessary to achieve our goals, and today we wanted to be in early for the Maxxis Circle Sand Race.
We pulled into town early. We have a little bit of extra time, so we figured why not have a little race. One of our favorites that we often do is the Circle Sand Race. Found a nice little flat spot of beach right here where we just basically go in a circle. It's a little bit different than we normally do it. Normally we do it in deep sand. This is very hard packed sand, so it's going to be very slippery. I'm going to anticipate lots of people sliding out, falling down. Should be good fun.
Get past and you're out. The last couple riders from each heat left in the competition move on to the next round. It's a slow-ish race where high speed is not a part of the mix.
The Circle Sand Race is a serious show of talent on a dirt bike. You got guys like Ryan, Brandon, JD, Matt Barber. I mean, everyone pretty much can only ride, the same pace right out of the dust in Baja, but you get them on a circle sand track and they really shine.
Outriding your brothers on rutted, constantly turning sand is tougher than most realize.
It's very simple. If you pass somebody, they're out. If you get past, you're out. We always do this on the sand, and this year we did something a little bit differently. We went to an area that had some little sand dunes, so it had a little sand, which made it a little bit more exciting than we would normally see. We had a couple really good racers out there, and we were setting up for a pretty good showdown that we didn't really see come to head-to-head, but it's always a fun time. Cameron, who always loves to have a really strong showing in the Circle Sand Race, it's kind of his thing. He had a very unfortunate race where the guy in front of him went down. He got stuck behind his bike. He wasn't too happy about it, but that's the way the Circle Sand Race goes.
I was pissed. Zeno fell over so quick right in front of me, and I made the big mistake by being on his inside. I'm lame, I know it. Haha. No final for me, but we had some ringers for sure.
Rounding out the podium this year was Ryan Liebolt, call him the Blue Crew. He rides a Yamaha. He won.
It went well. Where's Reed? The little right turn at the end is always tricky, but sand was wet here versus normally it's dry, so that helped a little bit. You could turn.
Back to back.
I can't tell everybody my strategy, but there's a strategy to win it, obviously.
Then Ben Rosenthal, one of our riding medics, our main medic. He got second place.
Number one would be better, but I knew Liebolt was behind me, and he's a better rider than me, but tried to stay consistent, slow my breathing down, and just outpace everybody, going nice and slow.
It's a lot of work, huh?
It's a lot of work. I got tired, made a mistake, and he came on the inside and beat me. If I'm losing, I'm happy I'm losing to him.
And we had Shane Reed, who's one of our sweep riders, but he showed us he can haul the mail, getting third place, rounding out the podium in the Circle Sand Race.
Yeah, I'm on the podium, third place. I smoked bean though, that's all I really cared about.
Scorpion Bay Hotel.
I think we're doing almost 300 miles today, so
Trying to fill the bikes and fuel ourselves.
I'm looking forward to riding in this area. There's a lot of good views and a lot of good beaches to ride on.
Originally, we were headed for Constitution, a kind of short day, and then we're going to do a big one into Cabo, but we realized the pace of the group's not going to get us to Cabo until late, so we changed it up. Now we're going to La Paz, little party at the BP Baja Sur station tonight, and a little restful morning and a cruise at the Cabo, hopefully. So 2 more days. Got to be careful, got to have fun. Of course, we follow local tracks all over Baja, and sometimes the locals use the fastest and easiest way, and in this segment, that meant a little beach run. The 2-track drops in and shortcuts a segment to a small town for locals, and we love a little smooth beach as well. Car and bike tracks are raced each time the tide comes in. Epic.
We're about 40 miles into a 290-mile day. Just getting back on a little dirt trail here. We were on the beach for a little bit. Back in Baja. Doesn't get better than that.
Mangroves had to be my favorite. I don't think you could ever come into a corner so confident and fast like you can in the mangroves. The dirt is so tacky and it holds up really well. And everyone just kind of let it wide open, and we were all heating and hollering and trusting one another. You know, you see some guy come up inside you, and you know he's going to be able to hold his line through there, and you can go so fast with one another, and it's incredible stuff. That is, I could ride that for endless miles.
It's funny how the quicksand like moisture lets 20 bikes go by, but one bike slightly to the right and it gets swallowed up. It's a Baja thing. It took 4 riders to get the bike out and going again.
The mangroves were amazing, and now we're gonna have a little lunch at the BP gas station. So what an amazing day so far. It seems like we've been putting in a lot of miles. I'm like a little delirious from just riding so far. So.
Oh, gracias, muy bonita.
Just on local TV with the burglar list.
Yeah, he's got the full raccoon eyes going right now on TV for Baja Sur.
Todo personas is muy bueno. You guys are.
Me this time. Why do you think it was me? Who got you?
You all did it. You guys are all in trouble.
They tried to do it to my goggles too, but it didn't work.
Fight you all.
It wasn't me this time. They tried to get me too, but it didn't work on my face. So.
Kyler, one of our camera guys, his bike's barely running, so we're gonna see if it can make it to the stop. And we got one other bike down back in the single track and through the cactus, a blown fuse, and I don't think it's running right now, so we gotta see if we can find a way to go get it.
The trip is taking effect, huh?
It is. We're getting deeper in the trip. Everyone's got a lot of miles and a lot of wear and tear, so at this point a lot of things could start going wrong.
I have a big black ringer on my face, don't I, right now?
Like the Hamburglar.
Yeah, I probably do. I had a feeling I could smell Sharpie on my goggle while I was riding. That was a pretty clear indicator that somebody put some black Sharpie on my goggles. But somebody's going to be on my naughty list here, and I'm going to have to get some payback later, I think.
No, actually, I wasn't riding wheelies. We were kind of doubling all the little sand deals, and I came over and looked, and there was one at an angle and just hit it sideways and high-sided.
A couple mistakes by riders and some tired bikes deep on the Rip to Cabo leads to load-ups and trail management. With no easy cakewalk ahead as we ride down the steps into La Paz, riders needed to be heads up and paying attention.
We were invited by the Diaz family to visit their VP Baja Sur gas station. Of course, they're sponsoring us and helping us out on this journey down to Cabo.
Who doesn't like bacon-wrapped hot dogs and a slow race? Between the fuel pumps, sounds a little dodgy.
So this is gonna get crazy really fast. This is the slow race. So basically, the last one that finishes wins, meaning you have to go extremely slow, or you have to be strategic and take out whoever you're competing against.
Fresh Fish Rob Blake from Colorado won, but the real winners will be us riding into Cabo the next day. The 2023 Monster Energy Rip to Cabo, presented by Maxxis Tires, is brought to you by Baja Bound Insurance, Troy Lee Designs, FMF, IMS Products, and Baja HQ, sharing the stove.
Day 8 is just as dangerous as day 1, maybe even more so. The message I want you guys to take away from this meeting right here is that my guess on the over-under on number of cars we will pass head-on will be somewhere in the vicinity of 60 cars. We are going into tourist land, UTV rentals, car rentals, four-wheel drive rentals, Borracho zone, everybody's on vacation. A lot of people wanted to go East Cape. We haven't gone to East Cape in 4 years, so we're gonna go that way. We're gonna slab it 33 miles to get to the dirt so we can ride the entire East Cape.
So when we come down here, we do our very, very best, and Cameron and the entire Desert Assassins crew stresses the issue of safety. And you know, it's a big roller coaster. You want to come down here to enjoy your life and to live the freedom of Baja and to take the risk, because doing one thing every day that scares you has a lot to do with that.
You know, the closer you get to Cabo, you start to smell it. The juices start flowing. That last day, you just get like a second wind, and you just got to remind yourself just to be smart and tone it down. And I think that's the key.
Between the mass population centers of La Paz and Cabo, there are some magical areas of solitude. Traveling along the Sea Cortez, headed for the East Cape, is one of those routes we reference in Baja as pure gold. Of course, the sheer cliffs and slippery corners littered with loose rocks makes it a must to stop to take in that Baja majesty. Celebrating and reminiscing are a part of this last 100 or so miles of Baja for the riders.
We've been out with 30 dirt bikers for the last 8 days in the middle of Baja, enjoying ourselves, but we also want to spend time with our families down here. So we're all looking forward to getting in here the last day. The guys are revved up to get in here, and when you come down that final hill to the office, it's always a little bit touching.
As a fresh fish, to be able to roll in and be celebrated like that was surreal. I mean, Edith puts together such an awesome show for all the family and friends and everything. You just really feel like, you know, you accomplished something huge, which we did. I mean, it's no joke. The ride's no joke.
18 years arriving at the office. This fine lady and her team have always treated us with the greatest respect. We love you guys. Thank you for being a part of our family. Thank you for making us a part of yours.
Welcome Cameron and Rip to Cabo.
Woo!
We had, I don't know, 100 plus waiters and staff, people out on the street, throwing rose petals, blowing conch shells, tourists lined up on both sides of the street that don't even know us, videoing, taking pictures and stuff. As we were sitting there, kind of being showered in rose petals and hearing the horns going off, it just made me think, wow, this has turned into a big annual event. And then finally getting to ride down the hill to where the families are. My wife, my daughters, they've grown up doing this every year. And of course I miss them, right? It's been 8 long days.
No, we'll find him. Let's go. Let's go find him. He's right there. He's right there. I see him.
It's a family-oriented environment that Cameron's created. Seeing the families when we get into town is very special. It's pretty emotional for most guys. I mean, it's what we've been looking forward to.
Whoa, this beautiful little baby with me. All right. Doesn't get much better than this at the end of the peninsula.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on, you got a really dusty lens. Let me fix that. I gotta look as good as I can look, you know, so I need a dusty lens.
Seeing my dad roll into Cabo every year was, I didn't really understand what he went through to get there. And now experiencing it for myself, the ride is totally deserving of a celebration like that.
Best trip of my entire life. What about you? Trip of a lifetime, that's for sure. Every mile done. Look dark at times, but we made it.
You know, you never know what you're gonna get from a group, right? It's a different group of people, how they gel together. And on the second day, we almost hit the panic button. We're like, oh no, this group's gonna be a problem. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to reorganize our routes. We're gonna have to start cutting out. We had like a serious talk on the morning of day 3. And man, they got their stuff together and rode great. And by the end of the trip, we were running like a well-oiled machine.
Can't believe it's been 18 years of this chaos. Just so emotional to be here. And we're going to talk to some of the riders. We're going to have some fun. We're going to tell stories for a lifetime. This is what we do. 1,400 miles of the peninsula. I'll have to get the exact mileage. But for me, I'm just stoked to be able to say we accomplished it again. Shared it with our friends. They're able to share Cabo with their families. The office awaits us. Let's do this.
Let's go jump for the ocean.
It's a wrap. The 2023 Monster Energy Rip to Cabo presented by Maxxis Tires is over. We've done our ceremonial plunge into the Medano Bay here outside the Sea of Cortez in Cabo, Land's End. Stoked to see the family, stoked that all the riders are safe. And the bottom line is it's a trip of a lifetime every time. And we're just pumped to share with all our brothers. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for being a fan. And just, hey, thanks for loving Baja.